LA Sheriff's Department. So I'm a sheriff's deputy with, LASD. First, he says, I would like to know how much I appreciate the information you provide on YouTube. Thank you on behalf of all of my partners.
That's awesome.
Now to my question. He's like a guy that's like, thank you, but let's answer my damn question.
Butter me up a little bit.
He butters me up a little bit.
Then get right to it.
Like, yeah, come on. You're wasting my time over here. So he says, all right, if hotel management reports a current hotel guest has booked a room with a stolen credit card and wants the guest to vacate the room and leave the property, can we enter the room without having to worry about getting keys to the room and so forth? Or do we have to obtain a warrant? So can you please share any case law on this issue, which I do have, by the way.
Okay, good.
Okay. But so let's talk about the first thing. Okay. First of all, this whole, I don't know about the hotel saying leave your property. I think it seems to me the hotel has this mentality of, since you robbed us, basically, not robbed us, but since you stole from us, you defrauded us, we want your property as like
collateral.
What is this?
Let me get your tweaker bag.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, this is some like tweaker hotel. Like, hey, I'm going to sell your stuff on eBay if you don't pay me my $49 a night. Okay, so let's start with the first thing. Does a person have a reasonable expectation of privacy in a hotel room that's been purchased with a fraudulent credit card?
So by fraudulent means they are obtaining those services from there. I think that's debatable on whether or not they've got a legitimate, we talk about society.
Tell our viewers there's a case called Katz.
Katz, yeah.
And Katz is a two-part test.
Two-part test.
Tell our viewers, in order to answer this question, there's a two-part test. What is that two-part test?
So when we talk about this two-part test, we talk about what would the suspect, or it came from Katz, but what would the suspect, what would their mindset be? What would they be subjectively?
Would they reasonably expect privacy?
Yeah, would they reasonably expect privacy? And it comes from that phone booth case where the guy took extreme measures to protect his voice from being heard from the outside.
Okay.
And so when you rent, when you rent a room, a legit, you have an expectation of privacy in there, free from government intrusion. However, the flip side of that now is when you start looking at from someone other than that subject, the outside, the society, the world looking back here, kind of an objective point of view on this here. Would society also consider that to be reasonable? Would they think the same thing? Would they allow it to take place? And you got to have both. Okay, you got to have that subjective thought. I expect reasonable privacy, and objective from the other side.
I love it. So let's answer the first question. Should a person who uses a stolen credit card to pay for the Motel 6 room expect privacy?
No.
Would society, even if he did expect privacy for whatever, I don't think he does.
Right.
But would society even recognize as reasonable?
No.
So there's your answer. Okay. Now I have a twist.
Okay.
So I got the case. Okay, so my officer that's going to watch this in California, your case is United States versus Cunag. It's CUNAG. The citation is 386 F3D 888, 9th Circuit, 2004. Now, I want you to know that for those people who do not understand case citations, that's fine. You may see these things, but I want you to know what they kind of mean, because I think it's good to just give people some explanation of what they're kind of hearing. When we say the citation is 386, that means volume 386. So if you go to a law school, at this point, there's at least 386 volumes. So you go to the 386 volume, they're all numbered.
And they still print.
They still print them. Yeah. Yep, that's the requirement by law, because not everybody has an internet. Well, I guess. So F3D is federal third. That means they're on the third set of these books. That means there's at least two other sets of 386 volumes. And then 888 is what?
The page number.
Page number. Yeah. So you go into the law school, and you grab that 386 volume of F3D, you turn it to page 888, and what are you going to find? United States versus Cunag. They said that defendant who procured a hotel room through fraud by registering under a false name and using a dead woman's credit card. That's just rude, but she don't care.
That's rude. Well, yeah, probably not.
She don't care. And providing admittedly forged authorization and identification documents was not a lawful occupant of the hotel room. Nice job.
There you go, huh?
And thus did not have a reasonable expectation of privacy in the room protected by the Fourth Amendment after the hotel management took justifiable affirmative steps to repossess the room upon discovering defendant's fraud. Now, I do have a little twist, the Ninth Circuit twist. The Ninth Circuit, based on this case, wants notice first.
To the so-called occupant?
To the so-called occupant. So that may not be true in other circuits, but they at least want you to tell that person, hey, you got to get out of here, okay? And so forth. So that is the answer. I'm not saying that's required in every circuit, but it wouldn't be good practice. We shouldn't just be barging into, it kind of rubs some judges wrong. Just, hey, you're out of here. You're fraudulently, if you're going to be arrested or whatever, you're fraudulently got this room, get out of here, and give them a reasonable amount of time to grab their stuff. And that's one thing I wanted to share with you is that just because they purchased or acquired the room with fraud does not mean that they lose their reasonable expectation of privacy as to
their belongings.
Their belongings, their backpack, their purse, their tweaker kit.